fourth grade ELA text set, innovative thinking and creative problem solving. How many of you love the library and think it is really important? This book, Hands Around the Library, Protecting Egypt's Treasured Books by Susan L. Roth and Karen Leggett Abaria, is a true story about people who united over their common love of books and libraries. In January 2011, young people in Egypt were protesting their government. When the protests grew violent, people feared their beloved library would be destroyed. Many protesters joined together and risked their lives to protect the library. Are you wondering what they did? Let's read to find out. Once upon a time, not a long time ago, many people in Egypt were sad and sometimes angry because they were not free to speak or vote as they wished or gather in groups. They knew about freedom, but only from books or the internet or whispering inside their safe walls of our Alexandria library. So the story begins once upon a time, not a long time ago. Fairy tales often begin this way, but this story is true. Why might the authors begin this story this way? Egypt's young people decided it was finally time to let their voices be heard, and so they began to march in the streets. First, they marched in Cairo, but soon they marched in Alexandria too. They raised their voices, and many others followed. Am I part of the story? I marched in Alexandria too. I was excited and hopeful, but I was also scared. In other parts of our city, some of the protesters had acted in anger. They had set fire to cars and to a police station. As we marched toward the library, I grew worried. What if they tried to burn it down? The narrator is the person telling the story. What information do we learn about the narrator on this page? Our Alexandria Library, built on the ashes of the ancient, famous one, is the most beautiful modern building in all of Egypt. Our ancient Egyptian stories are kept alive here in the books and in the carved stone and shimmering glass of the building itself. We were free inside the library, even when we were not free outside. We could not let our Alexandria library burn. I was surrounded by the sounds of pounding feet and shouting voices. Maybe it was the noise of peaceful people demanding freedom, but maybe the people were so angry that they would hurt each other, hurt me, or hurt our library. Thousands of us were marching for freedom as if caught on a wave from the Mediterranean Sea. Dr. Ismail Sergildin, the library director, saw us approaching. The library has no gates that can be locked, he called out. The doors are all glass. There is nothing that prevents anybody from destroying the building with all its treasure except the will of the people. The director says that the library has no gates to protect it. Only the will of the people can save it. What do you think he means? What do you think the people should do? The marchers pushed together closer and closer to the library. The crowd surged around me on the sidewalk, shouting, waving signs. We were in front of the library. We were on the library steps. The shouting grew louder. Then a young man broke from the marchers. He ran up the steps to Dr. Sergildin, and he took hold of the director's hand. A young girl followed. She took Dr. Sergildin's other hand, and then there were 5, then 6, then 7, then 10, all holding hands, protecting the library. Then I broke into the chain. Then I too broke into the chain that was stretching farther and farther, turning around the library, reaching toward the sea. So the narrator says people started joining hands. Look at the illustrations. What do you think the people plan to do? When some of the marchers spread a huge Egyptian flag across the steps, people cried together, "We love you, Egypt." A little boy held up another Egyptian flag. It was twice as tall as he was. He waved it right in front of Dr. Ismail Sergildin. A smile crinkled the director's face as he spoke. Thank you for protecting our library with us. Go forth into the journey of our lives and create a better world. Thank you, he said, his voice catching a little. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. That day, the whole world heard his new words and watched our Alexandria library, our Bibliotheca Alexandrian, with all our people holding hands in the perfect circle surrounding it. And because together we all protected our Bibliotheca Alexandria, once upon a time, not a long time ago, the library still stands today, holding all of our stories. These are actual pictures of what happened. So what do you think of the way the author wrote the ending of the book? Primary sources are original records from